Hey everyone, it's Oscar Quiroga here with your health plan coach. And today on Expose Your Worth, I talked to Dr. Brandy Valentine. Hey, Dr. Brandy Valentine is with Lotus Acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And if you want to know more about what she does and how she helps people, stay tuned. Let's go to the show. All right, so thank you. Welcome coming on this call today, Dr. Brandy. And I have with us Dr. Brandy Valentine. Dr. Brandy is out in Broken Arrow, offers an array of holistic medicine, and I'm going to let her get to explain most of this. Brandy, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're quite welcome. And of course, we'll try to make this an evergreen video, meaning that we're not going to kind of capture it in our time frame of COVID and this freezing weather, but we're going to hope that people will understand a little bit more about what you do. So tell me the name of your business. What is it exactly the name of it called?
It's Lotus Acupuncture and Chinese medicine.
Perfect. And when people hear Chinese medicine, and in fact, I mean, it's just very rare in Oklahoma for us to kind of understand the concept of what that means. But I want to kind of ask you a little bit more. How did you get introduced to this, and how long have you been doing it?
So whenever I was in college, I got sick, and my only option was to take medication. Like every doctor I went to, that was the answer. And I mean, I was in college. I didn't want to take medication for the rest of my life, and I really couldn't even afford the medication to begin with. So I just started seeking out new ways of doing things. And I tried the craziest stuff you just wouldn't believe. But ultimately, over the course of 4 years, by the time I was graduating from undergrad studies, I figured out that all I had to do was change my diet. And I thought, why did not one single person along the way mention me changing my diet? I didn't know that. I really had to learn. I wasn't raised to know anything about the diet. So that's what happened with me. And then I fell in love with Portland, and I fell in love with the school in Portland. And that's how I ended up in Chinese medicine, instead of some other natural health care. I was following my gut at the time. I hadn't even had acupuncture yet when I decided to go to acupuncture school. So, and that was in 99. So, I've been practicing for 17 years. School was roughly 4 years.
Oh,
My,
okay.
my master's program was roughly 4 years. And then I got my doctorate later on, and that was another couple of years.
So you mentioned nutrition, because that's something you wouldn't put together with an acupuncturist, at least not in my mind. I mean, I'm going to come in from a very novice level too. And you wouldn't think of that as kind of the basis maybe of acupuncture or how you got introduced. But, knowing that you've probably self-practiced some of this stuff and your routines, you're probably going to be your best testament. So when you mention that, let's lead us through probably who would get the most benefit and who are some of your clients. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so the very best way to use Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbs, that kind of thing is for prevention. So that's something that Americans don't think much about at all.
Mhm.
And really that's the best way to use it. It's how to get the best out of the herbs, how to get the most out of the acupuncture is helping you stay healthy instead of waiting until you're sick to seek it out. So anybody wanting to stay in good health can get acupuncture and do Chinese medicine. Typically, who I see are either people who have had chronic disease for years and years and years, and they've run out of options and nobody knows what to do anymore. As far as their doctors and stuff, they've kind of let them go. Those are my typical patients, as well as fertility, because my specialty is fertility and sexual dysfunction. So
Oh,
that would
interesting.
be
That's
most of who I see.
perfect. Perfect. And so typically, when have you dealt with anything that's been kind of a special, for instance, I mean, something isolated as something you'd like to see more patients because it's something you were able to benefit them from?
So there have been a couple of really cool things that I've treated recently that we've had awesome results with. And I'll just tell you about one of them, but
Sure.
this particular one, the man's immune system was so bad that his doctor said, your immune system is shot. You don't even need to get vaccinations because your immune system is so low that it's not going to even respond to the vaccinations. It's just going to mess it up more. And this was backed up with blood work, which is why the physician told the patient, don't even do this, because they had the blood work showing that his immune system was strapped. And so he started coming to me for general wellness, but we had this in the background that we needed to boost his immune system. Because if you think about it, acupuncture, a needle is a piece of metal going into the skin, and your body doesn't know that this is a sterile, fine needle that isn't doing any trauma. Your body just knows that there's something in the skin that shouldn't be there. So we're like tricking your immune system into paying attention to these areas, and it's all over your body. It's not just in one area. So your body is responding all over and sending your immune system to all of these areas because it thinks there's trauma there. So it's kind of
Interesting.
But anyway, this patient, he saw me 6 times and then he just happened to go back to his doctor and have blood work again, just happened to fall after the 6th treatment. And his immune system was restored and he could get vaccinations again. And that was backed up by the blood work. So
wow,
definitely, that's real cool.
Well, in today's world right now, obviously,
Yeah.
keeping immune systems high and boosting those, people are doing that through vitamins. I guess that's and some other, supplementals that they can take. But yeah, it's a great point. And I had another friend who, to take it in another direction besides just your immune system, I had a friend who had a shoulder surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And he posted on Facebook he was getting acupuncture as a recovery method. Now tell me a little bit why that would work.
To me, it's the same as before. We're stimulating the immune system. So what we do is pain is a cue for our body. So we have back pain. That is our cue to take care of our back. But we don't do that. We ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. And then it gets worse. And we ignore it. And then it gets worse. And then we ignore it. We don't change our posture. We don't change what we're doing, how we're sitting. We just aren't that kind of people in general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So our bodies are like, well, I guess she's not going to pay attention to that. So I'm just going to move on and go to something else. So what the acupuncture does, you stick a needle in that area, and that's going to bring attention to that area once again, so that the body will send all your immune cells and things to that area. If there's scar tissue in there, if there's inflammation, that brings blood flow to that area, which brings oxygen to the area, and oxygen heals tissue. So just the act of sticking a needle in does all of that. It releases endorphins from your brain that make you feel better, so it helps with pain. It helps you heal quicker because of the immune response. It helps you heal quicker from surgeries, and it also can help prepare for surgeries if you know you're going to have one.
Okay, so that's why. It made sense. And a lot of people today, we're remote workers, me included. We're starting to be more remote. We're working from home, and I imagine that means a lot of sitting in a desk. So, it's affected me too. I definitely, you start feeling your posture and you start feeling aches in your body that you normally wouldn't feel because you're more, you're set in a location that's just so sedentary. So that makes sense. And obviously, has that impacted or maybe influenced people more to come to you for some type of, resolve there?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people with neck and back pain. Maybe it's from working at home, or maybe it's because they haven't been able to work, so they're doing other things like knitting or reading or crafting, things like that. So they're kind of like not at an ergonomic desk in an ergonomic chair, and they're kind of like pulled forward. And the crazy thing about this is we think when we have this pain in our back and our neck, we think it's that we need to stretch our back and neck because our back and neck feels tight. But really what's happening is the front of the body is tight and it's pulling the back, kind of like a stretched rubber band. And then we go and we stretch it more. And we expect those stretched muscles to work properly. So really what needs to happen is the front part needs the stretching and the release, and the back part needs the strengthening. So a lot of times when people get these injuries or this pain, they're doing exactly the opposite thing that they need to be doing, and they're only hurting themselves more. So that's a part of the medicine part of the Chinese medicine. There's acupuncture, the things that I do, and then there's the Chinese medicine part, which includes the things that you also need to do, which is strengthening the back, stretching the front on a regular basis.
Wow. So, I have a sister that's a yoga instructor in New Jersey. And so now you're talking about more than just acupuncture, and it probably falls in suit of a little bit with what yoga does to the body. But have you worked with many yoga instructors before? Is that you guys similar in terms of theology? Yeah.
So yoga is Ayurvedic medicine, which is from India.
Right.
And in India, they also use acupuncture in Ayurvedic medicine.
Oh, okay.
So the philosophy is different. However, they're very harmonious. So I have a friend who is an Ayurvedic doctor. And whenever he would go to India to spend time with his family, I would just take over his practice, treat his patients, and it was seamless. So they really go hand in hand, but the philosophies are definitely different.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, you've hit on acupuncture. Definitely the part that it's something new that I learned was just the fact that you had to stretch the front part and increase, more blood flow or muscles, had to work those muscles in the back, because that's something I know a lot of people that are affected by. But for people who will listen to this who are not physically in Broken Arrow, do you offer something virtual for them? Is there something that you can do?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can do virtual consults, and obviously you're not going to get acupuncture, but acupuncture is such a small piece of the entire medicine that there's a lot of other things that we can do other than acupuncture to help you improve with your health. The only caveat is that I'm licensed in Missouri and I can practice in Oklahoma. So those are the only two states that I can serve online.
Okay, perfect.
But I'm happy to help people find a nationally certified acupuncturist in their area. There's a website. It's really easy to do. Just send me your zip code and I can look it up for you.
Okay. Well, so now I know a little bit more about your profession, but what does Dr. Brandy like to do as in the more personal world of Dr. Brandy Valentine?
All right. Well, I have two 16-year-old sons and husband and two dogs. That's kind of home life. And what I like to do for fun, actually, I teach a belly dance class. It's for beginners. I'm very much beginner, intermediate level. I'm not a fancy belly dancer. This is just for fun and to build confidence for people. So I teach that. And then also I play roller derby. So
oh, wow. Are there leagues in Broken Arrow?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're not playing right now because of COVID. We're waiting for all the stats and stuff in order to even practice. But that's Perfect. My love. That's what I do.
Well, great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, so, in a conclusion for the call and for the interview, I want to thank you for your time. But how can people get in touch with you?
The best way is just to call 918-703-0724.
Okay.
And then I have a website too, okacuherbs.org, and it tells everything about my business. And if you want to check your insurance, you can check your insurance from that page too.
That was I'm glad you brought that up. That's also a good point. So you do accept insurances for your services?
If they're covered. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Well, I mean, obviously I'm in that field, but that's an interesting point because, we want to make sure those coverages help people too. Well, great. Dr. Brandy, I appreciate your time. I'm hoping that this gets out to as many people that can benefit them in times like that we need now for more health and healing in this country, for sure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Yeah. Yeah, you're quite welcome. Have a great day, ma'am.
You too. Bye-bye.